Hello students, so this is my lecture number 2 in which we will study about the acid and bases. If you have not seen my lecture number 1, please go to the lecture number 1 of this chapter 2 and you will find that I have discussed the indicators which we are using to test the acid and bases present in the solution. Okay, so in this lecture I am going to explain you about the concept of acid and bases. So what are acids? We can understand with this video lecture that it is a substance that produces hydrogen ions when placed in water. That means when dissolved in water. How? We can see this with the help of this diagram. Suppose if I take hydrochloric acid, okay, and you can see that this blue circle is your hydrogen ion and this is your chloride ion. When they combine, they form hydrochloric acid. Now what will happen if they are dissolved in water? They will simply dissociate into H plus and Cl minus. So your hydrogen ion, if it is formed, that means this is your hydrochloric acid as a acid, okay, because it is giving you hydrogen ion by the dissociation of hydrochloric acid. Now if we see in case of bases, we can see that it is a substance that produces hydroxyl ions. Here you have seen that this is hydrogen ion, and here you will see that this will be hydroxide ion. See, this is OH minus ion. Okay, so whenever any substance who just dissociate into two ions and releasing OH minus ions, then that will be called as a base. Okay, if we see that most acids are generally sour in taste, they react with metals to form hydrogen gas. These are very corrosive in nature. Its pH is less than 7. I have explained you about the pH scale, and there we have learned that if the pH is less than 7, then that substance will be considered as acid. Acids are generally good conductors of electricity. If we talk about bases, they are bitter in taste. Okay, they feel slippery in touch. Whenever we touch any base, we will just feel a slippery touch. These are also corrosive in nature, like your acids, but the pH is more than 7, that is from 7 to 14, the bases will be there. And this basis generally dissolves uh, fat and oils. Okay, so these are some common properties of acid and bases. Let's talk about some more examples to understand it more clearly. If we talk about acids, we can see that whenever any fruits are there, citrus fruits are there, they all contain acids in it. If they are sour in taste, then there must be presence of acids. For example, orange contains citric acid, lemon contains citric acid, it is ascorbic acid. Apple contains malic acid, vinegar contains acetic acid, curd contains lactic acid. If we talk about tomato, it contains oxalic acid. Gastric juices which is found in our stomach, we can see that hydrochloric acid is present in our body. Okay, tea which we usually consume, that is also containing an acid, that is tannic acid. Red ants or any insects, their sting contains this acid, that is your formic acid. So these examples you have to know, because many questions are asked from these examples also. Examples of bases. If we talk about bases, generally they are found in the cleaning products. For example, drain cleaner, we can see NaOH is there, that is sodium hydroxide. We can see that baking soda which we are using in our kitchen day-to-day life we are using. Why? Because there is a presence of this CO3, that is carbonate, we will call it as sodium bicarbonate, and we are using for baking anything. Washing soda, it is also a cleaning purpose we are using, that is your sodium carbonate we are using, that is Na2CO3. Glass cleaner, it is also used as a glass cleaner. How? Because ammonia is there, and ammonia is also a base. Soap solution also contains a base. Ammonia is also what? that is NH3. So ammonia solution also we are using sometimes in laboratories. And acids, generally we used to neutralize the acid which is present in our body, causing acidity in our body, and we are using the antacids, for example milk of magnesia, that is your magnesium hydroxides. Now, if we talk about the classification of acids, then how acids are classified? There are some bases on which the acids can be classified. Let's check about that. First, on the basis of source, if we talk about the sources, these are considered as organic acids or inorganic acids. What are organic acids? What are the examples? If we talk about acetic acid, if we talk about oxalic acid, these are some these are some organic acids which we are using. Okay, because why they are called as organic? Because they are having carbon in their structure, okay, or in their formula they are having carbon. So if any compound is containing carbon, then and it is having a property of acid, then definitely that will be considered as organic acid. If we talk about inorganic acids, so the compound which is not containing carbon, other than carbon if any element is there, then it will be termed as inorganic acids. For example, hydrochloric acid, that is already you have seen, sulfuric acid, that is H2SO4, nitric acid, that is also not containing carbon in its structure. That is called as your inorganic acids. On the basis of strength, if we talk about, then there are strong acids and weak acids. Generally, inorganic acids, which I have told you, are your strong acids, and the organic acids are the weak acids. How we talk about strong and weak? On the basis of their dissociation power. Okay, see, the strong acids, suppose if I talk about HCl, that will be always having 100% dissociation. That means all HCl will be just dissociate into, all the molecules of HCl will be dissociated into hydrogen ion and chloride ion. Okay, but in case of weak acids, if we see, it will not dissociate completely. For example, if we talk about CH3COOH, so I will make a sign of reversible. Why? Because there is not a complete dissociation of these acids, so it will be completed partially. So we can see that CH3COOH will be dissociating here, releasing H plus ion, but again it may associate and form the CH3COH again. So what will happen? The dissociation will not be 100%. It will be not 100%. If we talk about on the basis of basicity, see, first of all you must understand what is the term basicity. It is very easy. In case of acids, we talk about basicity, and in case of bases, we talk about acidity. So this you have to keep in mind. Okay, what is basicity? Actually, it is just the number of replaceable hydrogen ion present in acid which get releases when dissolved in water. So it depends on the amount of hydrogen ion when it is just replacing from its acids. Okay, for example, if we see that monobasic acid, suppose HCl is there, and I'm telling that hydrogen and chloride ion will be formed. So here we can see that from this HCl only one hydrogen ion was replaced, because it is only having one ion. So this will be called as monobasic acids. So the HCl will be considered as monobasic acids. So what is the basicity of monobasic acid? It will be 1. So basicity of this hydrochloric acid is 1. If we talk about another example, that is dibasic acids, I will take sulfuric acid. If you see that there is 2 hydrogen ions, so it will release 2 hydrogen and forming a compound, that is your 2 hydrogen plus and sulfate 2 minus. Now you can see the basicity will be 2 because it is having 2 replaceable hydrogen ion. If we talk about triabasic acid, we will take an example of, suppose, H3PO4. So what will be the basicity? 3H plus PO4 minus, right? Then what will happen here? Here 3H plus is released, so the basicity will be 3. It is very simple. If we talk about monobasic acid, only one is there, one replaceable hydrogen. If we talk about dibasic, because two, di means two, it will be basicity is 2. Why? Because 2 hydrogen ions are released. And if we talk about tribasic, its basicity will be 3. Why? Because 3 H plus ions are replaced from its acids. Okay. Now let's talk about the classification of bases. On the basis of strength, the bases can be classified as strong base and weak base. If we talk about strong base, again there is a same thing, that here 100% dissociation will take place. Suppose if I talk about NaOH, it is a strong base. Why? Because it is just dissociating the hydroxyl ion completely from its base. But if I talk about the weak base, that is magnesium hydroxide, then it is considered as weak base. Why? Because there is not a complete dissociation of hydroxide ion from its base. Okay, so there will be just there is no complete dissociation. Okay, there is a incomplete dissociation taking place. On the basis of acidity, see, I have told you, for basis you have to consider the term, that is your acidity. What is acidity? Simple, the number of replaceable hydroxyl ion present in base which it can release when dissolved in water. So it will be considered as acidity. If we talk about monoacidic base, so monoacidic base, that means it must contain one hydroxyl ion. So we will take the example of NaOH, Na plus OH, or you can take KOH also. It is also having only dissociating only one hydroxyl ion. So what will be the acidity? Its acidity will be 1. What about dibasic acid? Di base, diacidic base, okay, sorry, diacidic base, it will be having the formula. Suppose if I take MgOH whole twice, then what will happen? This Mg2 plus forming 2OH minus. So here the acidity will be 2. Why? Because it is releasing 2 hydroxyl ions. And if I talk about the triacidic base, then we can take example of aluminum hydroxide. What will be the formula? That will be Al3 plus, and it will be dissociating 3 hydroxyl ions. So what will be the acidity? It will be 3. So now let's talk about the chemical properties of acid and bases. If I talk about acids property, that is chemical reactions, so it can react with metals and give hydrogen gas. Okay, how? Let's check. Suppose if I take an example of zinc, and if it reacts with HCl, then what will be the formula? What will be the product actually? ZnCl2 and H2. Why? Because Zn will react with this anion, because it is cation and this is anion, so it will form one salt, that is your ZnCl2, that is zinc chloride, releasing hydrogen gas. Now we have to balance it because here 2 chloride and 2 hydrogens are there, so we will just keep 2 here. Okay, so in this way we will do the balancing also, and we will write the reaction also. Now, how to know? Sometimes the questions is asked from this question or from this topic, that how do you know that hydrogen gas is released? So we'll put the sign here, this arrow, because if we check this, the test tube in which the reaction happening, if we check it by bringing the candle, that burning candle, then that gas will give you the pop sound, and it indicates that there is a presence of hydrogen gas. Or in soap solution also you can check the bringing the pipe of hydrogen gas. In that, if you insert it, then you will get the bubbles there. So that will indicate you the hydrogen gas formation. It is given in the NCERT book also, you can check there. Next is acids react with your metal carbonates as well as metal bicarbonates and gives out CO2. How? Let us check with an example. Suppose if I take an example of HCl and if it reacts with metal carbonate if I take, that is your Na2CO3. Okay, because sodium is metal and carbonate formula is CO3. So if we check, we will get the NaCl plus releasing, that is CO2 gas, plus your H2O. You can check it how it is formed. See, this Na reacts with your Cl, so this plus and this is minus. CO2 is released because carbonate whenever takes place in the reaction, they just turn out in the formation of CO2 and one oxygen here left with this one H, and if we balance it we'll get 2 here, 2 here, so 2 hydrogen are there and one oxygen from here. If we take, then we'll get H2O. So in this way you can check. Okay, same for the bicarbonate also you can do. HCl, NaHCO3. For bicarbonate we will just remove Na2 in place of Na2, we will write Na and here will be H. For bi we used to write, or metal hydrogen carbonate we used to write hydrogen in between the sodium and carbonate. In this way we will get the same products. Only if you balance it, will not need to balance the NaCl because only Na1 Na is here. Here also it is 1. Cl is also 1. Cl is also 1. So no need to balance it. So here you can see that here the NaCl is in doubled amount and here it is a single quantity. If we talk about neutralization reaction, okay, before going to this neutralization, here one question arises, just like your H2 gas, that how do you know that which gas is forming? So we can check this CO2 gas by just putting this CO2 gas in the lime water. You can see the lime water will turn milky and this shows the presence of CO2 gas, that it will turn the lime water milky. How? By the formation of calcium carbonate. I will explain it in the next video, the activity. Next is your neutralization reaction. It is very easy, that whenever acid and base react with each other, so it is also chemical property of acid to react with base. Okay, they commonly also react. Then what will happen? It will form salt and water. And if we talk about the reaction of these acids with metal oxides, they will give you salt plus water. Let's check. If I take again example of HCl, any example you can take. Okay, I am taking HCl because it will be convenient for you to check. Okay, so metal oxide means if I take CuC, copper is your metal and oxygen is your oxide. For oxide we used to write O, and metal we can use any metal, or you can write M also. Okay, so you'll get that CuCl2, just because copper is cation, chloride is anion, we will just combine that, and OH means H2. Okay, we will just balance it by keeping 2 here because chloride is already 2, hydrogen becomes 2, so it will be balanced. Okay, same for you can check for your bases also. The bases also react with metals to give hydrogen gas. Let's check with an example. If we talk about zinc only, then we will get Na2 ZnO2 and releasing H2 gas. Okay, how you know that that sodium zincate? What is the name of this compound? That is sodium zincate. How you know that this is formed? Because Zn reacts with this part. Why? Because this is anion part, this is cation, so they both will combine and hydrogen will be moved out. And how I know that how we have written 2 here? How? Because we will put 2 here because H2 gas will be evolved. So we will just balance it by keeping 2 here. So automatically 2Na will be written Na2 and O2 will be written 2. So this is the actual formula of sodium zincate, and because of the valencies of zinc, we have to balance it by keeping 2 sodium and 2 oxygen. But for your convenient, that how to write or how to check the formula, that I have told you, that you will just balance it by keeping 2 here and you will automatically get the correct formula. Okay, so if we talk about bases do not react with metal carbonate and metal hydrogen carbonate. Okay, so this you have to keep in mind, that only acids react with metal carbonates and metal bicarbonates, but bases do not react. If we talk about neutralization reaction, same reaction you can write that NaCl will be formed here also, because if we talk base, it will react with acid, same product will be formed. So the neutralization reaction is common to form. Next is what happens when your base react with non-metallic oxide to form salt and water. See, if you take suppose NaOH again, and non-metallic oxide means here we have taken metal oxide, that means we have to take metal here, but here we have to take non-metal. So very easily we can write that CO2, because the non-metal is carbon and oxide, for oxide we have written oxygen. So this will be the case. Now what will be the product here form? That is your Na2CO3, that is your salt plus water. You can check. See, this is Na, this is positive part, and this is your negative part. So Na and this will be balanced by keeping 2 here. So Na2 CO, one oxygen will be formed here, and we will balance it by keeping this.